Hey guys, so I know I look crappy. Like, I've been working, I've been going to school, and working both jobs. So, anyways, but my fast was over with, and right now I'm just sitting at the context of what I need to be doing. I just feel, I'm still staying strong, knowing that God is going before me and handling situations. I just like myself, okay, my 31-day fast over my husband. I know I'm just like, I need to talk to somebody. Um, I just, people don't really understand you. Like, they don't understand what you're standing for and what it's like. Like, right now, my husband, in his head, we're done. And in my head, I'm like, whichever way God wants to take it, I will deal with it. Because, at the end of the day, I just want to have that relationship with God now where I'm at. It's like I'm able to see people for who they are, their true colors. The problem is, when somebody is so dysfunctional, you accept them the way they are. If you love them, accept them the way they are and lead them to the better good instead of going along with what they're doing and just like, what's it called, sweeping it under the rug. Like, you got to be honest with them and pray over them, and God himself will touch them. And well, let me tell you guys about some of the things that I experienced this past weekend. So I believe my fast was over Friday night. So Saturday I was able to eat normal. Today is actually Tuesday the 25th, September 25th. So as you can see the timeline, September 25th, 2018. So my fast was over this past Friday, so 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Friday the 21st, let's just call it. And so Saturday night, I don't know if it was Saturday night or Sunday night, when I drove back from my classes, I have to drive about an hour and a half to attend my classes to get my additional license. Um, so let me tell you, Highway 35 South, what was backed up. So I took a detour that Google advised me on. So here I am. Okay, so this is 35, and as soon as I get right before the exit, I noticed it's backed up. Apparently, there was an accident where a motorcyclist kind of lost control of his motorcycle because he didn't realize this backup was happening because there was only one road being used. So then I took the detour through Montgomery, which at the time there was a lot of damage from the tornado that happened on last week. So there I was. I drove fast for a good 5 miles, and then I came up to a detour. So this detour, one car was going because there was a stop sign, so it was going. So basically, the detour was gonna get me back to I-35, where I was able to continue to drive. So anyhow, I'm listening to worship music and bobbing my head, and people in the back looking like this bitch weird. So there I was. And my allergies. I just bought loratadine and I need to take it. So anyways, okay, so I take a left once I get up to the where the detour ends to get back onto 35 South. And as I'm going down the highway, okay, so this is a trailer truck. So okay, this is the trailer truck. He's going back into 35 because it was one road and now it's turning into two roads. And as I come behind, I notice a Swift truck. And I don't know if some of you have like watched other Standing Wise videos. So the Swift truck is like a significance that God is still working in your life, working in your marriage. And at that point I seen it, it like meant the world to me because it was a sign that God was still had his hand on my marriage and is still working it through. But because I haven't received additional confirmation from God, it's like I really don't know what to make of it, and it made it really hard. It made it really hard because there I see it, and Monday I was really really hoping that I had a letter from my husband to kind of smooth this out. But you know what? I told myself I'm not gonna worry about it. God already gave me this Swift truck for me to look at, that he's working in my situation, and that's all I need to go by. I know the situation looks impossible, and before I even thought of how everything was gonna work, and God works when there are things that are impossible. That is who he is. He is the God of the impossible. He can make anything happen. And right now at this point, because of the classes that I'm taking, I just feel like I need to be networking and meeting people, especially in the cities, because that's eventually is where my job's going to lead me, once I get my license. So yeah, even in class, I had this amazing classmate that she's been very nice and very helpful. At some point, she even invited me that if I needed a place to stay, that I could come over to her home, since it's her. She has other homes, and if she's not going to be in town, I could certainly make use of it. And I was just grateful. So then this past weekend on the classes, she mentioned about one of her friends that lives out in Le Sueur and is having that could really use some help, listing and processing homes and whatnot. And I was thinking, my first thought was like, it's 30 minutes from Mankato. And the first thing I worried came to mind was how my husband was going to handle that if we were still together. And, it's just a bunch of mistrust came back to me. And I'm just like, well, whatever happens, at the end of the day, I need to worry about myself. I can't worry about my husband and what he does and whatever's happening. Right now, according to him, he thinks we're not together. According to me, because I'm still married, I am still respecting my marriage, this covenant that I built with God. But I did reach out to some of my male friends that I used to talk to before, and nothing's happened to where we've met up or hung out or anything. It would be very helpful if I could be like, hey, can I come and stay with you for the weekend? But I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to be tempted, and it's so hard because those male friends I was attracted to, when people are good looking, can you help yourself not being attracted to them? I'm just saying that it would be very hard to put myself in front of temptation, knowing it's like if you give a mouse a cookie and you just put the cookie on a platter, do you think the mouse is going to take the cookie? Of course, just like he takes the milk. So like my whole situation is, I could do it, but I would have to tell him, hey, this is how things are with me. I'm married. I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm not trying to disrespect God more than anything. But the thing is just being able to be in my friend's space without anything happening on the side, which is, it's really hard. It's really hard. And he's a good friend. He's an amazing person. And I want to spend time with, because I think that once I get my foot in the door, getting my license and getting a job, I really feel like I can open doors for him, because he's such an amazing father too. And he's an attractive man. So that's what makes it really hard. Like, I want to go hang out with him because he's a good friend too, but at the same time, I just don't want to tempt him. I don't want to tempt him because look at this voluptuous person. No, I'm playing. But I'm really focused right now. Monday through Friday, I'm working at the chiropractor's office. And then Saturday and Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., I'm up in Bloomington doing my classes. This coming up weekend, I have a test prep exam. And I've still been praying over my husband for God to open up his eyes, for God to soften his heart, for him, to be a good man, for me to forgive him, for me to see him with eyes of love, to love him how Jesus loves me. And it is really hard, like I mentioned before, he really didn't leave me with a good taste in my mouth once he went to jail, because he wasn't really doing much for me as a husband. And I'm just basically trying to do my duty, what God has called me to do, and it was to pray for him for those 31 days. And because I haven't received another confirmation, other than if you think of the Swift truck as being another one, I can't lie to you guys, my flesh really just wants to, I feel lonely. Like, I feel lonely, and I want to conversate with somebody else that understands me, that has the same values as I do, that loves God, that is hardworking, that is about their future with their kids. Someone that is willing to, do mission work for other people, who wants to help others and not just boast all these blessings and keep them to themselves. So that's the whole purpose with this new position that I'm uh, getting my license for. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to do food boxes yearly or at least every 3 years. I want to be able to help the homeless. I just want to do things for others. Like, I'm not content with just worrying about me and worrying about my kids. I want to do more for God. So that's some of the things, my friend from the cities, Mike, he's very social. It's a really social butterfly. Let me just put it that way. He makes a lot of friends quick. We can go out and he'll just make friends, like random people. And that's, when I originally hit him up was because I was in Bloomington and I wanted to have lunch with him and kind of just really change the dynamics of what our relationship used to be, because I dated him and stuff. Let's see here. Dated him for about a month or two, I believe, and it was good. Just at the time, I was really jealous, and I get really clingy and jealous, obviously, because I had a lot of baggage from before. And I like when we date, people don't realize if we're dating, you can see other people. You just need, like, don't lie to me. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into that. Uh, but that was one of the reasons why it didn't work out with me and my acquaintance. But I see him as a friend and as an amazing brother, a social butterfly. He is an amazing father. And I just wanted to hang out with somebody that knows me and knows this journey I've been on. He respects me. Like, I've told him before, like, hey, like, I want to come over. Because I'm praying and staying in obedience, I can't do anything outside that box. Like, I really can't, because my prayers really count. Like today I had where my mom was telling me about, my mom's been unemployed for about 6 months. She worked at the school and she got kind of laid off it because of her behavior. There was another lady that wasn't being fair to her, and my mom is not one that keeps quiet, which hence that's where I get my thing of being invested in everybody's life and getting in trouble for it, for speaking out. My mom does that too. So she ended up not working for the past 6 months, and she goes, Carla, I don't know how. I haven't been working for 6 months, and I don't know how I've been doing it, but I've been making it. Like, she mentioned how she did a garage sale, helped out a friend, and made over $250. And somehow she's been staying above her debts. And she's like, I don't know how you've been doing it. And I'm like, well, Mom, let me just tell you, every night I've been praying for you and my father to be blessed. And she even made some comments about how my father's come over and given her some money to help out with my siblings. And I'm like, you know what? At night when I pray, I said, my Heavenly Father, I pray that you bless the works of my mom and my father's hands, that they may be able to be blessed to help each other out financially. And it was amazing that this is happening. And she's even like, I don't know how it's happening, but I've been making it. And she was just like, she couldn't believe that she was making it. And I'm like, it's God. And I told her, I've been praying for you every single night. And then that was this morning. Last night I was talking to my stepdaughter, right? Because she's a minor. I shouldn't share her name anymore. But I was talking to my stepdaughter, and I love her. One of the last times, about 2-3 weeks ago, when I talked to her, she was being a little rude. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong with you? You can't be talking to me like that. And she's like, well, I can talk to you however I want to because my dad's cheating on you. And she was just rude to me. So anyways, I let it go. I even called her, texted her the following day. I'm like, I still love you regardless of what you're going through and what your dad does. I love you with all my heart. So anyways, 3 weeks later, she called me up and she's like, Mom, I'm really having such a hard time. I feel like nobody is really watching over me. She mentioned how she had court, and she said that her mom didn't come along, but her stepdad Nar did. And I was just like, I told her, you know what, Alice, I'm having such a hard time believing what you're telling me. She went to the point of telling me that she was in this vehicle with some kids that apparently had a gun in the vehicle, and she didn't want to get into any more trouble because she already got in trouble for um, driving her mom's friend's vehicle without her permission. So she told these kids to leave her on the side of the road, and these little brats left her on the side of the road. And she said, and I was walking home, and these two Christian women picked me up. She said that as they were driving her home, they were talking to her about God, and that as she left, she said, they're like, can we pray for you? And she was like, oh, okay. Kind of like feeling weird about it. So she allowed them to pray for her, and they prayed over her for her walk to be blessed. And and then she called me, and we had a really good conversation. She even showed me the screenshot of the ladies that shared their phone number, and actually told her, if you ever need us or if you ever want to go to church with us, just give us a call. And I was like, wow, that was God. Like, it couldn't be no other than God, because every night I pray for both me and my husband's kids, all six of ours, my three and his three. And I just pray for God to send the angels down and really cover them with protection. And I pray that each and every one of them will learn to love themselves, and for them to feel God's love, that they may be encouraged for their future. And, just feeling that God is listening to your prayers, it just gives me life, and it just makes me feel like, you know what? I need to stay in obedience. For my husband may think he wants to leave me, but I'm still in this marriage, and I have to like stay loyal to the covenant that I created with, if none other, God. I created that covenant with God, and I need to stay loyal. And I've always wondered if other standing wives, when they were waiting for 3 4 years, did you guys go out on dates? Because technically my husband wants to leave me, and I'm like, I still want to socialize. So it's like, you know and so yes, so if I do go out and have lunch with friends, I like want to let them know what's going on. Like my situation is like, I just want to be honest. I don't want to be like have feelings hurt, but I am in that position where I do feel lonely. Like, it's been over a year and a half or more since I've had any contact with, male, really socializing, going out, and all that stuff. I was just staying home and working all the time. I haven't even done my nails. I haven't even done my makeup, which I wanted to do it for you guys to kind of just like say, I'm appreciative for you guys watching my videos, and I just want to encourage everybody, because I do have a lot of circumstances in my life where I feel like God is speaking, through the Bible, of how much He loves us and how much He cares about us, and all He wants for us is to be obedient, to be loyal, to reach out for that relationship with Him. And it says, whatever you ask in prayer, or let me just Google it, because Google Bible verses about prayers on my Bible verses about praying. Okay, let me just find, because prayer has a lot of power in it, and it's true, it's not made up. Like, this is real. God does work in our lives, and He loves us. And let me see, it's being a little slow. Okay, let me see. Okay, 1 John 5:14 says, this is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He will hear us. And then 1 John 5:15 says, and if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we ask of Him. And and 2 Chronicles says, hear the supplications of your servant and of your people Israel when they pray towards this place. Hear from heaven your dwelling place, and when you hear, forgive. And then 2 Chronicles also says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sins and will heal their land. And Ephesians 1:18, and I may pronounce that wrong because I'm not really good with my Bible lingo. It says, I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened in order that you may know the hope to which he has called you, the riches of his glorious inheritance in his holy people. And then Jeremiah 29:12 says, then you will call on me, come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. Like this, like every single Bible book, the books of the Bible, like Ephesians, Jeremiah, Job, John, James, Mark, all that stuff, it talks about how they knew God, how God presented himself in their lives for them to write about him. And you have to understand, okay, there's billions of people in this world, and maybe there's about 5 million, 6 million believers. Do we really want to believe that 5 or 6 million people are crazy? That we are crazy Christian, crazy religious people? No. We believe in something because we've seen that God is real. All right? I would not be sitting right here telling you guys of my beliefs if I knew it was a sham. I had this experience, about 3-4 years ago where I prayed to God and I wanted to know that he was real. And that's when a different language came out of my mouth. And let me tell you, it wasn't Spanish and it wasn't English. And ever since then, I know there is a God. Like, he is not made up. He is real. And, it's taken me some time to get to where I'm at. And every time I prayed for him to work in my life, to make me, to strengthen me, to give me courage. And this is where he's brought me to. And I feel it's only fair that, I got these fruit flies in my house. It's like now they're down, dwindling. But he's there, and all he wants us to do is, in Romans 12:2, it says, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and prove what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So it's like God wants the best for you. Sometimes we are stuck in relationships that he did not call us into. So then we go through all these struggles. Like, as far for me, I created this covenant with him and my husband. And I can go back and watch our marriage video over and over again. And we said, in goodness and in health till death do us part. So here I am standing for this covenant that I created with him. And he doesn't want to be a part of it any longer. And I'm stuck waiting here till he decides to send over the divorce. Because my number one loyalty belongs to God. It doesn't belong to the man that cheated on me. It doesn't belong to the man that hurt me. It doesn't belong to the man that I believed in. It belongs to God, because at the end of the day, God knows what's going to happen. In Jeremiah, it says, for I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. So therefore, regardless whether our relationships are restored or not, we owe our loyalty to God, for God to work in our lives, for God to strengthen us, for God to give us comfort, for God to change us into better human beings. So with that said, there's a lot of women that are stuck in the relationship that they want to be in. Stuck that, oh, God needs to do this. God needs to restore this. God is going to do his will. The only part that we have in it is praying for his will. Because we cannot pray for a selfish heart. We can't be praying for somebody because it's convenient to us. And that's one of the things I learned through this fast, that I'm very grateful, because now my walk is strengthened and I know where I never want to go back to. I don't want to go back to that girl that was dating 3 guys at some point, wasn't really determining anything serious with any of them, who ended up hurting them. I don't want to be that person ever again in my life. I want to be a person that is focused, oriented with God's love, that I can encourage others to believe. I was just telling my friend Alma the other day, you can either, walk one path and believe what you've been told by so many people, or you can walk the path that God has for you. The path that you're taking, people don't respect. not necessarily respect, but the path that you're on hasn't led you to the desires of your heart. Try God, test him out and see where he can take you. Me and my friend Emma, we had a bunch of dreams when we met each other more than 8, 9 years ago. And I think we came to realization last year that we were nowhere closer to those goals on our own. So, it's like, let's give God a chance to see what he's capable of doing in our lives. So we just open up the Bible, encourage others to love him, stay in obedience. And that's what I continue to encourage her to do. But I just want to tell you guys, life is not just about your relationship and God restoring our marriages. God's love for us is that we come to know him, that we come to be fully strengthened in him, to believe in him, to put our hopes in him. This world is going to let us down sooner or later. But the one thing that stays the same, that will never change for us, is his love for us. How he gave Jesus and allowed him to die on the cross for our sins. All right, don't forget, Christmas is coming up in a few months, and that's what it is about. It's about learning how much God loved us, that Jesus was crucified on the cross. So I just want to let you guys know, I love you guys. I really do, and I just want each and every one of you to know of God's love, and know that he's listening to your prayers. So don't feel weary, whatever you do it with love and do it with joy and do it with happiness, because God will have your back. If there's people that aren't treating you respectfully or being nice to you, don't worry about them. God will handle it all. He's handled it in my life, and I have no doubt that he will do in your lives what he did for me. And that's why my loyalty for God. I did not want to post these videos on Facebook because I felt like I was going to be deemed crazy by some lookers. But it's like, really, who cares? At the end of the day, I'm not embarrassed of my faith. I'm not embarrassed in what I believe in, because the place that I'm in right now is the best place possible. I love the life I'm living right now. I love my children. I love that my children know God. I love that my children know right from wrong. I love that I know what's right and wrong. So it's like, God always has our backs. Our backs. And it's 11:30. I need to go to bed. I'm just wanting to tell you guys, love you with all my heart, and stay encouraged in God's love. Thank you.